Justin Tinsley with ESPN's Undefeated. As you can see right now, I'm on the beautiful campus of Howard University, surrounded by some of Howard University's finest. In preparation for the town hall that's going to be on ESPN, hosted by Jamel Hill on Thursday at 9:30, I decided to come over here and chop it up with a couple of Howard students and pick their brains on a couple of the topics that will be discussed that night. So let's jump right into it. First of all, I just need everybody to introduce themselves, their major. You can rep where you're from and whatever else you want to say. So start with you.
Hi, my name is Vincent Roof. I'm an electrical engineer major from Chicago, Illinois. I am class of 2019, and this is my second year, so I'm looking to have fun.
There we go.
Hi, I'm Bria. I'm a nursing major from Houston, Texas, and I'm class of HU20.
Hi, I'm Nyasha Schuler. I'm undecided. I'm from Westchester, New York. I'm also class of HU20.
Hi, I'm Tiara. I'm a sophomore sports medicine major. I'm from Beacon, New York.
I'm Sierra. I'm from Southern California, and I'm a biology major. I'm a sophomore.
I'm Nathan Thomas. I'm a sophomore mechanical engineering major, and love the school. It's great.
All right, so we're playing it off right now, but the sun is beaming on us, so we're just going to get right into this conversation. Hopefully it goes behind a cloud again. The first topic I want to bring up are athletes and activism, excuse me. I'm sure everybody's heard about Carmelo Anthony this summer. Michael Jordan recently released a big-time statement. Obviously, LeBron James, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, they're always active in those type of regards. First of all, I want to ask y'all one question. Don't worry about that beat right there. What do you think athletes' roles are in activism and speaking out on social issues? And feel free to just jump right in.
Well, I feel many athletes, especially African-American athletes, they kind of feel obligated on what to do because I feel like within the black community, some people, we view our black men as like kind of slaves to the athletic community. We kind of feel like, oh, well, they love us on the field, but do they love us in real life? So sometimes I feel like the athletes are kind of like caught in between what to do and what not to do, not to say too much, not to say too little, kind of like on the edge on what to say because they don't want to lose their job. And they're there to entertain us, so they're just stuck.
Absolutely. I'd be remiss to say I also have to shout out the women of the Minnesota Lynx who also had a big-time statement this summer with the Black Lives Matter T-shirts. Anybody else had anything to say about athletes and activism? What you think their roles are? Do you think they should speak up? Do you think they should just focus on their day jobs or whatever the case may be?
I think it's really important to speak up because they have such a impact on mainstream society, like what LeBron, Carmelo, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Paul, they all did at the ESPYs was so big to have it on like a national stage talking about the value of black bodies, and that's really big, and it makes for a really big impact on like communities that they came from, people like us. So I think it's really important.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think, like, sometimes we think just because, like, you know, they're so good at what they do, like, they kind of have control over their own actions, but a lot of the stuff they do is, like, they have an image and they have people controlling that image, and so sometimes maybe they don't get the chance to speak out. Like, I know there was a cover, I think, with LeBron James, and he was, like, posing with a basketball, and he's holding a white woman, and it was like showing like the King Kong kind of thing, and that was like a really bad image. But I don't know, like, if he ever said like, hey, I shouldn't be doing this or something like that, or if he was ever in control of that. But on the flip side is like when Michael Jordan made a statement, a lot of people were like, well, maybe he's just saying this because his sales are going down, and he knows like the black community is a big part of that. So it's like, who's really in control of what's being put out there, and like who's really in control of their image and stuff like that.
I definitely think that they should feel obligated, and I think that in the midst of their celebrity, they sometimes lose who they are, but simply because of the fact that this isn't something that we're only going through. Their generation went through this too, as when California, when they had the Rodney King and things like that, like those incidents happened before. So you were growing up when this happened, and you lived through knowing that you had to watch your back or know that you may be racially profiled. So now that you have this economical power or even power from your society or communities, I think that they should definitely use that to make a change.
I want to ask y'all this question. I'm pretty sure everybody's vaguely familiar with the name Michael Jordan, correct? I'm pretty sure everybody knows that.
Wait, Michael?
Yeah.
Who's
yeah.
Michael?
He was a marginally decent basketball player. I think he used to play in your city or something like that.
Did-
Oh, he was in the movie Space Jam. That's what it was.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
He was in the movie
I
Space
got
Jam.
you. Okay.
Yeah, real good movie.
I watched
What'd you
Nah,
say? First, I want to know what you all thought about that statement, because I'll preface it by saying this. For years, people have always associated Michael Jordan with the quote that he actually didn't say, "Would Republicans buy sneakers too?" He didn't actually say that, but he was also famously quiet on social issues. Now he decided to, release a statement, thankfully, through our website, The Undefeated, where he addressed these topics of police brutality, African Americans' relationship with the police. Did you find the statement, if you're familiar with it, did you find it sincere, or, like you said, was it a ploy to play the marketing sales? Trust me, Mike ain't gonna come get you if you I promise you he won't.
Honestly, that was one that I pondered on. I'm just not sure. And
Mhm.
even with Melo, I was extremely glad that he stepped up and said something. But I just felt like why now?
Mhm.
Like this has been going on, so I guess I have to do my research and really come to a conclusion on what I think is the reason that they both came up. Is it just that it's enough, or is there some type of advantage for them? I'm not sure at this point, but it's definitely something I want to look more into.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether it's sincere or not. I definitely hope it was, but I think that doesn't really matter. I think the fact that like these big athletes are speaking out is really important because like it brings a lot of attention to such an important issue. So whether they meant it or not, I think it's leading us into the right direction. It's starting a conversation, so I think that's definitely important.
Absolutely. That's a great point. Anybody got anything else on that? Or we can go to the next topic. All right. Another topic that Jamel and company will be touching on is the topic of racial profiling. It's a sensitive subject. Has anybody here experienced that? And if they want to talk about that. I mean, I was profiled just as recently as Cleveland last month. I had to go cover the Republican National Convention, which you can imagine that was, yeah, that was an experience. I got called everything from, they thought it was, well, I am black, but they also thought I was Hispanic, and they thought with my beard that I was a part of ISIS. So I got profiled for all three. So I mean, it didn't really bother me that much because I knew what I was going into in that type of regard. But I've experienced it throughout the my 30 years in life. Has anybody else experienced it? It could be something minor. It could be something major. If you feel comfortable speaking on it, because I understand this is a very, very sensitive topic for a lot of people, especially a lot of people who look like us.
I have. I was on a plane here actually, and
Really?
this lady on next to me, she was like, "Oh, I normally don't talk to people on planes, and you sound really educated for a black girl." And
Ooh.
like for me, I get what she's saying, like, "Oh, you're intelligent, but do you have to throw that dig in there?" Like, not all black people are ignorant, and I don't think any black people are ignorant that I talk to because you're smart in your own way. And I feel like you shouldn't really profile someone by their skin color at all. And I was just like, well, thank you. Like I don't know what else to say to someone like that because I feel like you're actually ignorant in this situation by profiling other races by thinking they're ignorant actually. So that's my experience with racial profiling.
She hit you with the disclaimer for a black girl. Oh man.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah.
One time, I was on the subway going to another class that I have at George Washington University, and I sat next to this lady, normal day. She just takes her purse, moves it to the other side, scoots over, and I kind of wondered, like, okay, maybe I'm too close. So I get up, and I scoot over the other way, and then she puts her purse back. And I was like, maybe she did that because, I'm a black African-American young man that's sitting down next to her. And then I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm from the suburbs. I don't want to say a rich community, but it's well off. And I've never experienced something like that before. And it stuck with me for a while. Like, did she really judge me without even knowing, like, who I am just because of the color of my skin? So.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like, money doesn't erase ignorance. In a lot of cases, it only enhances it, So, I mean, I feel you. I went to grad school at Georgetown. in 2009, 2010, and I had a presentation in class one day, and I had to jump on the metro from my internship to get to class. So I met a couple of, I guess, my classmates at the metro, and I had a suit on, and one of them just came right up to me. He was a white guy, and he said, "Hey, nice suit, Justin. Where'd you go today? Did you have court?" I was like, "Come on, man."
That's not funny.
And everybody looked at him like, "Come on, dude. Like, really?" I can't tell you what they said because this is on Facebook Live, and I need these paychecks from Disney every 2 weeks. So I'll keep it really, really Mickey Mouse rated. And yeah, I didn't say anything to him. I just smiled and walked away because in certain situations, you know, people want you to react.
Right.
So, anybody else got any examples of that you feel comfortable talking? If you haven't, then that's great.
I don't have I've never been experienced racial profiling, but I did in high school had to write a paper on it because that's a topic I chose. And my teacher actually suggested that I choose another topic because he felt like there wasn't much to say on it. And with that, I was just like, wow, that's crazy because there's a lot of opinions. People have a lot of things to say about racial profiling. So that's just my experience with it.
That's crazy. Not a lot to say about it.
I don't have any specific instances. Personally, I'm Black and Mexican, but I just think as a person of color, you know, there's always that time where if someone gives you a weird look or just moves away from you or anything like that, you always have that in the back of your mind where it's is it because I'm Black? Is it because I'm Mexican? Is it because of what I look like? And I think that's just a hard experience to have to deal with every moment of every day.
Absolutely.
I feel like it's almost sad nowadays. When I went back home for the summer, my parents wouldn't let me go out at night because they were worried something bad would happen to me. Just, you know, I mean, I'm almost 20 years old and I still have a curfew because of what's going on in the world, and it needs to stop. You know?
Did you have something?
I'm listening.
How was this summer for y'all? I'm kind of, and I'm just saying that in the scope of everything, just everything that happened. Just for a while, it literally felt like something was happening every other day. You know, whether it was Baton Rouge, or whether it was Minnesota, or whether it was Dallas, or what, you know. How are y'all feeling after? It was a pretty hot summer.
Personally, it was pretty draining. I know I had to take a minute and just be by myself and not go on social media because after seeing Alton Sterling and then Philando, that was within the same week. And just seeing everybody's reactions to it and trying to process my own emotions, I just had to take a minute. It was too much for me at some points during the summer. It's kind of difficult. Very difficult.
I think the hardest thing was we never really got time to mourn because it was day after day, within 48 hours, another person had been killed. And then one thing that was frustrating to me is okay, so in Orange is the New Black, you know, they killed off a character and they said they were trying to show because people had really liked that character, how hard it was for the Black community, but still at the same time when everything started happening, no one cared, nothing was changed. So it was just hard because there was no time to mourn, and then it was even harder because no one was doing anything to try and change the situation, no one who had actual power to do so.
For me, it was really all right, enough is enough. Nothing is working, and what's next? So what I did this summer was I haven't opened an account with the Black Bank yet, but I've started the process, and right now they're getting my account details. But I think I'm on the verge of really only utilizing African American and Black-owned businesses because it's time for us to start investing into ourselves, and it's we're investing into these people, and look at how we're being treated. Look at how they're supporting different causes to keep this systematic oppression continuing. And it's just for me, I was you know what? I need to make a change some way. So what I thought was to invest into a Black business. Soon, when I get my account details, I'll have all of my monies into that account. But it's just a start, and I think that it should be a start that everyone should take. And actually, there's an app called Where You. It's on my phone, but you may not be able to see it. It's a green app. It's called Where You, and it promotes Black businesses. And I think that everyone should download this app. It's here.
It's called Where You?
Where You.
Okay.
And basically, it just tells you all the local black businesses and also national ones too. So if you
Okay.
need clothing, banks, anything. So that was really my first step for this summer.
Anything else? Oh. All right. Well, I don't want to keep everybody too long, so we'll wrap it up, I guess, with these last two questions and whatnot. Another topic that's going to be discussed at the panel on Thursday, is the issue of gun control. How does everybody feel about the Second Amendment? It's a hot button topic, especially with this election, especially with a certain candidate who I won't name right now, but you can probably guess who it is. And look, if that's who you're voting for, that's who you're voting for. Just go vote in November. That's all I'm saying. Just go vote. What are you guys' feelings on the Second Amendment right now, as in 2016?
I think it's incredibly, incredibly outdated. Thinking like a lot of things in the Constitution are, but like that just like it doesn't need to happen. I honestly think like civilians don't really need guns. I can't remember which country it is. It's a country in Europe, but like they can have as many guns as they want, but the ammo is only kept in like the military places and like the gun ranges. So I think like that's a really good idea. But I just think like we don't. So, like as civilians, we don't really need guns to protect us like that. Like it just causes a whole mess. And then I think like with police and guns, like there just needs to be a complete overhaul in the situation where like instead of shooting to kill, like they shoot to maim or something like that, if it's at all possible. Because like obviously like it's going very badly every encounter. So, yeah.
Something that's has been kind of sad to me about the Second Amendment is that it's so hard to get simple things like trying to get background checks for people who have these types of weapons. Like, I feel like that should be an issue that we're all kind of agreed upon. Like, people who have mental issues, people who have been suspected of, terrorist things shouldn't be able to buy weapons that can kill people in such a way. Like, so I think it's kind of disheartening when, like, reforms like that where people just need a simple background check to get a gun like that can't even get passed. I think it's really sad.
And like she said, the government's not even really helping us because I'm from Texas and everyone from Texas loves their guns. And I'm like, you're having state-regulated gun shows to sell guns, and then there you even have illegal sellers and buyers getting guns without background checks. And I'm like, why would you even have that available to the public? That just makes no sense to me at all whatsoever. But
That's America.
Hello.
That's America. Anybody got anything else to say on that? All right, so this is the last question, and feel free to expand as much as you want on this or as little. So town halls are great. Town hall discussions are great, but a discussion without action is pretty pointless, like wasting everybody's time. So what needs to happen next in order to inflict real change on this country, not just saying, oh, we gotta. What needs to happen next? Whether it's voting in November, whether it's voting in local elections, whether it's community service events. I don't know what it is. So I'm asking y'all, whatever you think. There's no wrong answer to it, by the way.
I think it's voting in general. The Constitution allows us to have a voice through voting, and we're allowed to openly express our opinions. And the fact that people don't vote, it's like you care, but you don't care enough to actually try and make a difference, and that's the problem that keeps occurring. So it's so simple as going down to wherever you need to vote and checking a box, And that little action can make such a big difference in the long run.
Is everybody registered to vote?
Yeah.
Here in D.C., or are you going to do absentee ballot?
Absentee ballot.
Absentee? Okay, cool. Okay.
It's definitely voting, but I also think it's contacting like your legislators, your congressmen, like all of that, because like we need to tell them like if you're not going to do anything for us, we're not keeping you in power because what are you there for? Like we need you to do stuff. Simple as that.
Amen to that.
I feel like we need to have like an outreach in more like poverty communities or lower economic communities, because I feel like they have a voice but they don't have the resources to spread what they have to say and tell what they have to do. So I feel like we should have like little like pop-up shops or something to like help people in lower economic communities like become aware and like have them actually have a way to speak their mind and say what they want to say and put on paper what they want to put on paper, because it's like a lot of that's not around in America.
Absolutely. Anybody? If nobody else? Oh, good.
I was just gonna say, I think if we want a change, we need economical power. I think that people start to make changes and change things when money is different. Now that you're not selling this because people want to go elsewhere to buy a product. Now you want to appeal to those people so they can buy whatever service or product. So I think that really once we get a good business foundation for something African American owned, we can really make some changes.
Well, I believe that concludes our conversation. Thankfully, the sun played fair for the last 10 minutes of this, and we didn't all bake out here. As you can see, I definitely need a tan, but I just I just want to thank you all for real. Y'all didn't have to do this, but y'all took time out of y'all day to speak with myself, but more importantly, ESPN's Undefeated. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Tuesday at 9:30 on ESPN. That's when the town hall takes place. And I just want to thank y'all. Appreciate that. And best of luck. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.
I'll be up here. I didn't tell y'all this because I didn't want to tell y'all at the beginning of the interview because I thought y'all were going to walk away. But I'll be up here for Hampton Howard weekend.
You went to Hampton.
There we go. That's always the fun part. That's always the fun part. No, seriously. Yeah, y'all should. No. Hey, but appreciate everybody watching at home and around the world because we are going to get 100,000 people watching this.
I was just going to say thank you guys as well for at least just giving us a voice, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We talk about this stuff with our friends and, you know, in our rooms, but it's like this is actually, other people are actually going to see this.
Nah,
so
man.
thank you guys.
This is important. Like, this is, out of all the things we do at the Undefeated, like actually going out to the community and talking to people. And look, I went to Hampton, but I'm serious when I say this. Like, Howard is one of the most important institutions in this country, black or white.
I think we all are too.
Yeah.
Howard,
Yeah.
HBCUs.
Nah, man, we all got to support each other, and like a lot of great thinkers come from these type of universities. And I can see I'm around a lot of great thinkers right now. So I just want to thank y'all. I want to thank everybody watching, and I'm gonna cancel this right now. There we go.